All right, welcome back to another episode of The Average. This is Tim,
This is Bryce.
and we are coming at you with a viewer or listener request.
Whoop, whoop.
tonight. Okay, so we actually had a couple people request the menu. This is one that we actually scored a while ago. We just never released the score because I think we were talking about doing an episode at one point.
Yeah, we talked about doing an episode, but I think it was more of just it came out on HBO Max like not even a month ago, I think.
Yeah.
And I think me and Megan sat down to watch it, and then we told you guys you need to watch this thing like ASAP. Like
Yep.
This movie is awesome. And so we talked about doing a score of it. I just don't think we got around to it, and we were just like, well, if someone requests it, like maybe we can do it or something like that. But yes, some of you did request it, so thank you. I'm really excited to talk about this one.
We've actually got your scores and comments to read as we go through this.
Yeah.
So we'll dive in a little bit about the story. The menu, first, Menu was directed by, not often going to tell you who directors are and stuff like that, but this one deserves it. Directed by Mark Lloyd, written by Seth Reese and Will Tracy, starring Ralph Fiennes, which I'm not sure you should know. Almost everybody should
You
know.
should
who this
know.
guy is.
You probably don't notice with the nose on his face.
I don't. The nose on his face. Go into that one.
Oh, sorry. Was this not Voldemort?
Yeah, that's it.
I was gonna say, like,
Voldemort.
what are you talking about? That's Voldemort.
No, he is Voldemort. So
I can't
just
believe-
about
You know what?
everybody
It's
knows
okay.
who he is.
I missed out on the Indiana Jones quote you made a couple episodes ago.
Yes,
so
it's
we're
okay.
even.
But starring Voldemort, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, and those three really. We'll get into it, but a little bit about the story. Ralph Fiennes is, if I'm saying his name right, probably not.
Ralph
Fiennes.
Sure. Whatever.
Ralph.
Yeah.
Ralph. Okay, so Ralph runs a super high quality restaurant.
Yeah. It's a restaurant.
It's something that he describes during the movie is most people will consider a once in a lifetime privilege.
It's mostly like an experience, basically.
Yes. Like he talks about working years to craft his art into this where he can pay charge astronomical prices.
Basically like a performance almost. Like they go there for the whole day, and it's a performance that they put on with using food, basically.
It's on this secluded island.
Yep.
They have to take a charter boat out to get there. They harvest all the food that they're going to be making that night from local sources on the island.
Yep.
So really this movie is about a unique group of people being invited to the island to experience this meal.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the premise.
Without getting into too many details, as we will here very soon. So let's just go ahead and kick this off. Story and plot. I will just get the conversation started. So I gave it a 5 out of 5. This is a very unique movie. I don't say unique as the story is. The story as bare bones has been done before. This is definitely a movie.
How so?
Well, this is a movie critiquing the 1%. I think it's pretty obvious from the storytelling. And
so in that regard, it reminds me like the closest thing anybody might be familiar with is it does remind me of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. A group is invited to an island for a unique experience, and they don't really get it.
Yeah, and then what was that one about the people who got? What was the one where they got invited and like they used those people to like hunt them or whatever?
The Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah, that one. That was another one. So yeah, like I think bare bones, like the story has been told before, but like this felt like a very unique take on it with food. And I think it's the way that they executed the story itself that made it so like entertaining and felt fresh. So yeah, I mean, using food in the story, I don't want to spoil anything of this movie, and there's a couple parts where you can, but yeah, just it's basically like watching the Food Channel, but like so much better. At times, it's so like creative and fun when they do that. Everyone's like, we'll get into it with characters and stuff, but everyone like everything makes sense for how the characters like progress throughout this movie. Watching these characters grow and like watching like these little pieces get dropped. Like for each character, you get to know a little bit more about this person, then a little bit more about this person, and it's funny because like they correlate it with some of the parts of this evening and what goes on without giving away too much. And I just thought it was super creative. It was fresh. This is easily one of my more favorite movies of last year that I watched. So 5 out of 5.
This is right up there. This is right up there with Barbarian for me on my watches from last year.
Yeah.
I don't consider this one a horror movie. This one's really. Definitely more of a thriller.
Yeah.
But
like black comedy sprinkled in.
Yeah, I was mesmerized by how unique. I've never seen anything like this. It's definitely a commentary on the 1%.
Absolutely.
But it's just executed so well. We don't want to give away the story too much, but as this dinner unfolds and the story develops more and more, we feel like the guests entering. We don't really know what's going on. We're just along for the ride.
Totally.
We're going to taste this appetizer, see what's happening. And then with each course, things get elevated.
Yep, absolutely.
So I gave it a 5 out of 5. We actually have our 2 guest reviewers who submitted their scores. Anna out of Illinois, she gave the story a 4. And then my brother actually sent in his score and he gave it a 5.
All right, interesting.
Yep,
good takes. I like it.
So let's moving into character.
One. Yeah, character. You want to do this?
Okay, I can kick it off into character. Man, if I could give this a 6, I would. Because I truly love every one of the members of this party, including the kitchen staff, is a unique and memorable character.
Yeah, the kitchen staff is very memorable for whatever they serve at this point. And I don't mean the food.
It is above and beyond what I expected. Mm-hmm. So the movie opens up with Nicholas Holt's character, and you're kind of seeing it through his perspective at first. And he's just like this amateur foodie who aspires to be something more.
Yeah.
And he's kind of our street level person. Yeah, he's almost annoying with it. And he's brought his date along, Anya Taylor-Joy. And everybody is not what they seem in this movie. And so as the movie unfolds, their characters deepen and you get to know new levels. Some of it is shocking, some of it is heartbreaking, and it is executed so well. Character was 5 out of 5 for me. Tyler also scored it a 5 out of 5. Anna surprisingly scored it a 1. I would love to hear her explain.
Wow. That. Yeah, that's aggressive.
And wow.
Interesting. Go ahead and send us a message. I want to know more about that.
I have her closing comments for the film.
Okay, we can read those later. Yeah. So yeah,
when I see you tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. So we got character for me 4 out of 5. I think for the most part, I took points off mostly because just some characters aren't that memorable for me. There was a what were they, like stockbrokers or something like that? Those you know which characters I was talking about? Uh-huh. Yeah, they're just kind of forgettable.
Stonks.
Yeah, stonks.
They're awful.
That's an old meme. Oh wow. Yeah, there's just some characters I thought were pretty forgettable. They weren't like as deep or memorable as some of the other characters were. There's actually some characters that I wish I got to know a little bit more of, like the mom.
Yeah,
I kind of wish we got more of her and like kind of what was there. Even that
though was like so fascinating for the little bit that she was there.
Yeah, exactly. I wish there was more to it. But like outside of like those couple of critiques, like I mean, I agree with you. It was just fun getting like a baseline of these characters at the beginning, and then just as the movie continues, you get just a little bit more, and you get a little bit more, and like it changes between every character that you get a little bit more, and and again, like they tie that into the events that happened during the evening. And I think that's just it was a lot of fun watching that uncover, like it is with any other mystery that goes on. And all the characters were great. Anna Joy Taylor does really great in this role, and her character is pretty memorable. What's his name? I forgot it already. Voldemort. Ralph. Yeah. Ralph is a very memorable antagonist throughout this entire movie. He's the best character in this entire movie.
He's
hands down. His performance is just mesmerizing, and you just can't help but be like, yeah, this is, if there's anyone that is not Gordon Ramsay and is that next level,
every time he's on the screen,
this guy. Yeah. Like this is the guy. So yeah, character 4 out of 5, not much complaint.
So I also, you said something that made me think about it, but like a lot of the movies will dive into the movie and we can walk away feeling like these characters only exist in this moment of the film.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this movie to me is that the movie begins that way. The movie begins with these characters feeling like they only exist right now for the purpose of the story. But as the story unfolds, you start to get a history and a perspective of where all of these characters have
and
come
why
from.
they are actually necessary for the story and why things are going down the way that they're going down.
And to me, that's always fun. That's just beautiful storytelling, well constructed.
Oh, totally.
So diving into music and design or sound design, this is probably my lowest score for it. I give it a 3.
Yep. Same.
Tyler gives it a 4. Anna gives it a 2. So we're a little all over the place with this one. I give it a 3 because I don't remember it, but I remember it being good.
Yeah.
It's a good score.
Yeah, this kind of harkens back to why I gave Ant-Man and Wasp a 1. Whereas in that movie, like you said, you gave it a 3 because you felt like it did its job. Like I gave it a 1 because it was like, sure, it did its job, but like it's just so overdone, and it feels like I've heard that score 1,000 times before that I was just like tired of it. Whereas in this one, the score was a little unique. I felt like it kind of like, okay, this goes well with what's going on in the movie, but. Again, like you said, I don't really remember the score at all, so 3.
Well, and I can also go back thinking about it. They use the sound of kitchen utensils, like clinking and setting plates down and stuff, and it really helps create the atmosphere. And just that little touch of sound design is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So the editing and special effects are unique for this movie.
A little bit, yeah,
because there aren't really any.
Yeah, I mean. So I'll kick us off. I gave mine a 4 out of 5 for this one. And I think the biggest reason as to why I gave this one a 4 out of 5, it's not really a spoiler, but the editing that they do for when they serve the dishes, like I said, it's literally like you're watching the Food Network, and it is just so entertaining to watch them like make this food. And like they shoot it legitimately like it's a TV show. Like they put like the name of it and everything.
Yeah,
but
each course has like a title card.
Right. And like this is where kind of that comedy like gets slid in there. They like have like the ingredients for it, and they have like a couple of really like smart lines that they throw in for the ingredients that make it super funny and add to the story and what's going on. So like that alone like gave shot this score up for me. It was just super unique and funny to watch. And it was like cleverly used, and it didn't overstay its welcome by any means. And there were a couple really cool shots that they had framed up. A couple of the deaths that happened, like I just like the framing and like how it went down.
Deaths, these are just people eating dinner, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's in the trailer, so it's not really any spoiler. So again, I won't spoil anything, but it's in the trailer. Like you know what you're getting into. But yeah, I thought it was just really well done, cleverly used, and it didn't overstay its welcome. 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 4. Tyler gave it a 4. Anna gave it a 2.
Anna, what is going on over here?
I don't know. I don't know if I
should be offended or not.
But I wonder if it's just because of the lack of special effects, which I personally love. I think that
totally.
In this movie, it's more like everything was practical in this movie, I believe.
That would make sense. Yeah.
But the tastefulness in the editing from like the construction of the plates, like you talked about, it's like watching Food Network, but elevated. It's so much classier, and you feel like you're experiencing this classy event with them. And a lot of that has to do with the editing. It was super well done.
It was very restrained, I'll say. Yeah.
It was an experience.
I see what you did there.
So we'll dive into not a lot to say about editing and special effects. The script is where I could just gush about this movie.
Oh, interesting.
So
what'd you give it?
I gave the script a 5. My brother gave it a 4, and Anna gives it a 1. So
did Anna like this movie?
That's interesting. I read her comments. I'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that at the end. I'm very curious.
So the script for me, I guess this goes back to character, where I said we feel in a lot of movies the script can make us feel like the characters exist only in this moment. This script does a beautiful job of giving us a little piece of their lives as we go, and it's not just two main characters. It's not just Nicholas Hoult and Anya Taylor-Joy. It's the chef. It's the politician and his wife who are sitting at the table behind them.
Their story was so like, I loved watching that story just come unfold.
It's the two food critics.
The food critics one was just like tense the entire time.
And
that was so good.
She's always correcting him, and he's always supporting her. And it's just like little.
What's her name? Because she was in Ozark also, and she was phenomenal in Ozark. Like I loved her. Oh, I can't. I'm gonna look it up. You keep going.
And then then we have John Leguizamo and his either his girlfriend or accountant, whatever, somebody with him.
Oh, but like, yeah.
There are so many just little nuanced details in the script that are just amazing. And the like shining star of the script is the hostess.
Oh yeah, she is a standout.
She is nasty. She's in the best ways.
Oh
so like gosh.
So funny.
The bro stocks guys are there like, can we just get some he serves as part of his like bread has been seen as an elitist thing in the past. Or no, it's a common thing. Bread is for the common person.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of the people here, he's like, you're not common people, you're above everyone else. So he serves them a breadless bread plate. And these stock bros are just so upset. Like, can we get some bread? And he's like, can I get some gluten-free for my friend over here? And the host leans into his ear and says, you are going to eat more than you deserve, but less than you desire. And it's just like,
it's pretty good.
Like, there are so many just delicious little nuggets in this movie. I love the script. 5 out of 5.
All right. I'm sorry, but
I haven't even dove into Anya Taylor-Joy's. Let's go.
Yeah, she was great too. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 for me. I feel like most of that, like what you said, leans more to the story. Like you said, there's like some really good lines in there.
I think we look at story and script very differently, because the story is a bunch of people going to an island to experience food. The script is how you tell the story.
We do look at it differently then. But yeah, I mean, like the more I thought about it a lot, 'cause like I think I could give it a 4, probably 3 or a 4 for sure. I think for the most part, it came down to some of the characters and like their stuff I just didn't care for. Like some of the lines were not memorable or great for me. I was kind of like, okay, it's like whatever. Like there's some, again, I don't want to, like when he's talking with, like the moments where he's talking with Anya Taylor-Joy, like those moments felt like they could have written something a little bit better for those moments for me.
I loved it.
And I just like, I didn't love it as much. And so I probably wasn't like, there were those good lines where she leans into his ear and says that stuff. And then there's a couple of good lines that he has when presenting it. But I think I say 3 out of 5 in the best way possible, because it goes back to what I said about the story, like the story and the editing of like, it feels like they were able to restrain themselves and just kind of get to the point without being too rambunctious about like the story that they are telling. And so I think I say 3 out of 5 in the best way of like, I just like how clean and cut it was. Like they kind of just got to the point. There was a couple things I didn't care for as much, but then they had those great lines where like they were sprinkled in, but it wasn't enough to like elevate that script to like such a great thing. So I say 3 out of 5 in the nicest way of like, I really enjoyed how like crisp this script was and how you just kind of got to the point and I understood where everyone was at and how it led to the next thing. So if that better defends how I looked at that.
No, but fine.
Anyway, what's next?
Next, diving into acting.
Oh, also, Janet McTeer, I love you in Ozark and The Menu.
She is the food critic in The Menu who just plays the crap out of her snooty self. It's pretty great.
Oh, she's so good. Anyway,
the broken emulsion. The chef. Yeah. The chef has brought some more broken emotion for you.
Yeah,
those are like script moments that I just love. And the Anya Taylor-Joy and chef scenes to me were so filled with tension.
Oh no, I agree.
Without revealing anything too early. That was so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally. All right. So anyways, the acting, I'm pretty sure my brother gave it a 5 out of 5. I gave it a 5 out of 5. And I gave it a 2.
I can't wait to hear comments. I'm just going to stop even making comments at this point.
Well, this is what is so great about The Average. Tune your ears up if you were distracted there. The average, nobody watches a movie the same way. Bryce and I fight about movies because he thinks the script is the story.
And trust me, you're going to get some movies where we really fight about. You thought Everything Everywhere All at Once was Tim at his worst? No. You're going to get some other movies where we're at our worst.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, I'm about to get defensive on this one, but everybody watches a movie the different way, and that's why this system is supposed to be unique, and everybody takes something different away from it. Anna might not have been feeling the acting in this movie. I thought the acting was on point from beginning to end. Like,
totally, yeah.
Everybody delivers what is necessary in the moment, and sometimes more. I believe that food critic is a food critic. I believe that she shut down restaurants because she's a snooty little whatever. Anya Taylor-Joy, I believe that her character is hurt. I believe that she's going through something, and I believe that she doesn't want to be here. Like, I believe all those things from her. Nicholas Holt's character, I believe that he is a fanboy willing to do anything that the chef asks him to. Like, yes. And the chef, I believe that when you find out his story at the end of this, I believe it. I watch that performance and I go, yeah, that is a man.
The ending is very, very good.
Yeah.
Like, I love the ending.
That is a man brought to the edge.
Honestly,
I think the performances knock it out of the park.
Yeah, we'll get to it in the final comments. Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, what are we on again? Sorry, I got distracted. Acting. I believe I gave mine a 4 out of 5, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I mean, you said just about everything I was going to say. Anya Taylor-Joy does a phenomenal job. She conveys all the range of emotions that someone like that would have. Not even that someone like that would have. It's just more of like, I see some of her reactions and I'm like, I could totally see someone like that like reacting. It just felt so natural, like the way that she went about this movie and how she was acting. Like, I don't know. And like, again, there's like some black comedy sprinkled into this movie, and even those parts, she's a part of some of those parts, and she's just funny in those moments.
It all feels real.
It all feels very real, even though obviously someone would not react like that in that situation, but it just felt so natural and funny to that. Yeah, Ralph was phenomenal. He absolutely steals the show.
Like, I honestly thought he deserved to be nominated for...
I think you could argue that.
I don't know if he'd be supporting or main, but...
Ooh, yeah. I think he'd be supporting technically.
Yeah, I think he's technically supporting in this film, but he deserves it.
Yeah. Like, this is his movie, and he probably, in my opinion, is the main character.
He is captivating.
He is just so good. I thought this was amazing. Yeah, and then you start going down the list from then. Like, I could say, yeah, the food critic was awesome. The hostess was awesome. The politician and his wife, like, even though they had very little, it felt like I still found their like performance captivating at times, especially towards the end. And I think that's kind of where I started to realize, like, everyone did do great, but I mean, they served their purpose for the roles they were given. Like, those stockbrokers are pretty forgettable the more I thought about it. Like,
they played stockbrokers.
Yeah, they played stockbrokers, and so they played that part, and they did it well. As great as the entire like team was, like the chef's team, like they were great in the roles, and like some of them have some standout moments. But also, it's like, yeah, I mean, they served their role really well. I don't know if I would go as far to give this a 5, though, just because there's some that I like more. There's some that carry it way more than others. And I'm not saying that they acted poorly. I just think they didn't do anything that really made them all stand out like uniquely. I think more of that can go to the script and the story itself that elevated those actors from where they were at. So I'd say comfortably 4 out of 5 for that then.
So I think it's interesting that you'll score it a 4 because you didn't like 3 performances in the whole film.
I didn't say just 3.
The stockbrokers were 3. Everything else, you were
I couldn't even remember the one guy and his assistants. Like, I didn't even remember those 2. So that's what I mean. It's like I even forgot some of them.
Okay.
So and even the tugboat guy. Like, I forgot about him too. It's like I think
he was fantastic though.
I know, he had a good moment, and I was like, yeah, that was great. But it's like that's the point. It's like I couldn't remember, but they all had great moments. But I couldn't remember. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. And it's like, 4 out of 5. Because like you said, 5 out of 5 is perfect, Tim. Remember, 5 out of 5.
I think everybody's performance in this movie was perfect.
I think they all served their purpose extremely well. And a lot of that has to do with the script and the story.
Which is also perfect. So, moving on to direction, which Tyler scored a 5 on direction. Anna scored a 2 on direction.
Okay.
And I scored a 4 on direction.
I also scored a 4. I can kick this one off for us.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, from beginning to end, there isn't really a lot that slows this movie down at all. In fact, if anything, it
accelerates.
I will say the beginning is the weakest part of this movie, and it's a little sluggish, honestly, till it picks up towards the. I don't want to say.
It is the halfway mark that things.
I don't even really want to say the halfway mark, because like you're interested when you get like to the island, like that's when the intrigue kind of sets in.
Yeah, there's like a sense of intrigue, almost foreboding.
Yeah,
the second you arrive on the
totally.
island.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say the first quarter maybe is a little sluggish, especially the beginning. Like, I like a lot of the beginning kind of is forgettable, and I didn't really like it. Like, one thing that stuck out to me was like the amount of cursing that they do at the beginning. I don't know, like it just kind of stuck out of like a high schooler who just found cursing for the first time, and so they just kind of throw it into every other sentence, and it felt just a little bit like it just kind of felt weird at times, and so the beginning's kind of slow. It kind of takes a little bit to kind of get into the situation, because once they like sit down for the menu, like once they sit down to actually go through the night, like that's when things pick up, and that's when you start kind of slowly getting into it, but then it picks up speed. Just it keeps going and going and going, and then you're just kind of going like 100 miles an hour. It's like, oh, this is crazy and intense. So I'd say directionally speaking, even though the beginning can be slow,
directionally speaking, left or right?
I know that kind of
north or south, Bryce?
North or south? Yeah. So yeah, 4 out of 5. I don't really think there's a lot that slows this movie down. I think it's pretty concise and it gets to the point, and it's a fun time once it gets going. You just can't stop.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I gave it a 4. There's a lot of really balanced and symmetrical shots in this movie, which I really enjoy.
That's very true. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's very aesthetically pleasing, and I really enjoy the moments where we talked about like each menu has a little title, or each menu item has a little title card.
Yeah, it has a title card.
So you have like
pop up.
hors d'oeuvres, and it pops up with the logo.
Right.
And,
it gives you a logo. It does like the spinning plate thing. It shows like them making it, and then they have like the ingredients.
The movie's got an identity that it sticks to and follows through. If anything, I'm a sucker for long shots, moving camera. The movie is a little static.
Moving camera.
Yeah.
It's just funny because like a lot cameras move in almost every movie, so it was just kind of funny.
How does it move? Because these are a lot
of moving shots.
These are a lot of static shots with the camera being still.
No, I don't. I totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying I love like a long moving shots.
I know. I just thought it was funny because like in every movie has a moving shot. Like it's just funny. It was a funny comment. That's all I'm saying.
I'm glad you found it funny. Like there are a couple moments in this movie where the shots are very artistic, but I didn't think, in a lot of ways, the direction reminds me of A24 movies, where you they really just let the director create his vision.
What company was this movie by?
This movie was actually,
I don't remember off the top of my head, at least.
Distributed by Searchlight.
Oh, Searchlight. I like Searchlight.
Yep.
They got some good stuff.
So the director did a great job. There are just a couple things that like they didn't really stand out as a negative. I just didn't really feel like it deserved a 5. Wouldn't say it was perfectly directed. I'd say it was very capably directed.
Right. So that leads us then to our it factor. I went ahead and gave this a 4 out of 5. To go into some details with that. This movie is one of the more unique movies that you will watch. But again, that kind of like some of the stuff we said earlier, it doesn't take away from the few things that are stuff you have seen before, like the commentary on the 1%. You have seen that before in some movies. Also, I know it's not. I was gonna say home invasion, but like it's not home invasion. It's more of just like a cat and mouse kind of game. Story a little bit,
but almost exclusively through dialogue.
Right. It's a little bit more dialogue driven in that sense, and
for example, most of this movie, people are sitting at a table.
Yeah, because it takes place in the restaurant for the most part, and then there's a couple times where they'll move around and they'll do some different stuff, which is interesting.
Calisthenics.
Yeah, exactly. So while that is part of this, you can't take away from the fact that this is a movie that takes all that and puts it in the setting of a restaurant with food and tells a story through that lens. I can't remember any movie that has really done that. I don't even think I remember the last movie I watched that was like based around the concept of food.
Right.
Like the one thing that comes
Ratatouille
to mind,
is the only other movie I can think of.
Ratatouille goes so hard though. I love that movie.
That is the only other movie off the top of my head that I can think of that centers around food.
and was good, like really, really good.
I can't even think of bad ones.
Well, what was that one with John Favreau, the chef? Was that what it's called? Or am I thinking of the Adam Sandler movie? I don't know. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it was...
I can picture the poster, but...
the poster.
Yeah,
that's what comes to mind. He's in like that green apron or whatever. Yep. He's just smiling. It's like, we love you, John. But yeah, I mean, this movie, I think come to the end of this movie, it absolutely has the chops to stand out compared to any other movie. Like, this is definitely one of those movies that you should have gone and seen last year. It was so good. It's on HBO Max, so you should still go see it.
On HBO Max.
Use a free like week or so and like watch this thing. It's awesome.
I mean, you pretty much covered it. Tyler gave the It Factor a 5. Tyler loves food and cooking, so
I mean, we all love food here, so.
That probably elevates his score a little bit. I gave it a 4 for a lot of the same reasons you said. It centers around food in a way that I've never seen done before. Is very unique, very well done. Anna gave it a 2 on the It Factor.
I'm just biting my tongue till we get to the end.
So according to the 2, based on our Google Forms list, 2 means it is something that piques people's interest but fails to deliver.
Now I'm real.
So
we gotta
dive into beef. So I'm gonna go into the final scores with Anna because this is fascinating.
Wait, hold on. Let's do entertainment first and then.
Well, yeah, I'll do entertainment value in her.
How about we do ours first and then we'll jump into theirs. So anyway, going off yours first. Go ahead and lead us.
So I believe my entertainment value was 10 out of 10. I was glued to the screen the whole time.
Yeah,
and I ended the movie completely satisfied.
And what does your total score come to?
So that takes my total.
As he has this all up in his head right now, and there's not.
That takes my total to 45.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much what I thought it would be. So yeah, my entertainment was a 9 out of 10. Mostly just because, like I said, the beginning is kind of slow a little bit. It drug a little bit for me. I didn't really care for those.
Was it slow or was it appropriately paced?
Slow. Thank you. That's all I have. Like I said, the script wasn't really smooth at the beginning. It kind of felt a little rough at times. But again, I understand what they're like. You know, you're kind of starting at the base point of these characters. You don't really know them. They're not really special. And they, change that moving forward in the movie. But yeah, that's really the only thing I docked for entertainment was I was just kind of bored at the beginning. But after that, like, I'm just hooked. Like, I could not take my eyes. I was like laughing. I was tense. It was so much. It was just a fun roller coaster to go through.
Once this movie puts its foot on the gas pedal,
it doesn't let up.
It does not let up.
And not even just that. It just slowly gets faster and faster and faster until you're like screeching down the highway.
This is not 0 to 100 in 60 seconds flat. Yeah. This is like 0 to 100 in 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Where it comes to like this, honestly, I would have never been able to come up with the conclusion to this movie the way they did because the conclusion is perfect. Like, it is so. I would have never imagined that's how this movie would have ended.
Nope.
And it was just amazing. It was amazing. Like, it was such a unique and fun ending for what this movie brought to you till this point. I was like, yeah, that was just freaking awesome. And so, like, outside of the beginning, it would be a 10 out of 10. So 9 out of 10, it was still just so much fun to watch.
So my final comment.
Final score, 40 out of 50.
40 out of 50?
Yes.
So my final comment, what I actually really love about this movie, and what I usually look for in most movies anyways, is that underlying meaning. Like, what is the story trying to tell that's not super obvious? Like, what's not on the surface?
Yeah.
And at its core, this movie is a movie about art made for commercial reasons.
Yes.
Versus art for passion.
Yep. Exactly.
And I've never seen a movie tell that story like this, done this well, using food as the art method.
Mm-hmm.
And food in this movie, especially, food is art, food is passion. And this movie does such a beautiful job of reminding you why you started to be creative in the first place.
Exactly. Right.
And that, to me, like, they did a beautiful job. And that's why I said, when there's parts of this movie that are heartbreaking, and just that reminder of this is what you're passionate about and this is why you're passionate. It wasn't about the paycheck.
Exactly.
It was never about the money. You did it because you loved something.
Yeah. So why don't we go ahead and read some of their comments, and I can close this out at the end.
So Anna's final.
Hold on, save her for last. Let's do your brother.
Okay,
first.
Tyler did not provide comments.
Oh,
but
bummer.
he did. He did say his entertainment value was a 10 out of 10.
Okay, yeah.
So that brings his final score to a 45.
Nice.
So he and I were both 45s.
Cool.
Anna gave this movie on entertainment value a 9 out of 10.
And her final score is
a 25.
All right, let's go ahead.
So that is interesting.
The mind
so
of Anna
Anna's
here.
comment for this film was, let's see if I can get it.
Let's see if you can pull it up here. Let's say, like, someone who grades it like she did, and then comes back with the 9 out of 10 for entertainment.
Okay, so this is what she has to say. Anna says the story was super captivating, so it kept me on the edge of my seat.
What was her story score, real quick?
The whole time. The story score, she actually scored that a 4.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, follows.
She said it was super captivating, kept her on the edge of the seat the whole time, and I like the idea of it all having to fit the menu, meaning everything that happens.
The whole fits the title.
Fits a concept.
Yeah.
But she thought the deaths were pretty dumb, and I was confused what the Asian lady even wanted to accomplish. So the Asian lady was the host.
Yeah, the hostess.
The hostess. Also, this is a spoiler, so I'll skip that. She does bring up Ralph Fiennes's. He's obsessed with Anya Taylor-Joy's character because she's not supposed to be there.
Yep, exactly.
And it's throwing off his menu.
Yeah, which gets into the story a little bit. Again, not to spoil too much about, but
that's part of the tension between those two characters. That's so masterfully done.
Yep.
She said she doesn't get that part of the story, and that she predicted the end, but thought it was kind of silly. And I really appreciated the silly at the end, actually, because the way this movie ends was silly, but it is explicitly to remind you of childhood. Like, it is meant to take you back to a simpler moment and a simpler time. And I kind of love that.
It's kind of funny because, never mind.
Specifically
I wouldn't even make
to
that comment.
Marshmallows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marshmallows are... That's okay. Yeah. No,
yes.
I know exactly what she's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally... I understand where she's coming from. I think that, and that's again the fun of this whole thing of just seeing other people's views on it. I can understand like the dynamic between Anna and Ralph. Like I understand how she can get lost in that dynamic because I don't think that's kind of what like my comment on like the script and like them like talking. Like I get how she can get lost in that. Like I said, they probably could have like found a possible another way to like have them interact with each other and what they said, like to make it a little more clear. Like I picked up on it. I can understand how she gets lost on that. So I think that's fair. I can understand that side of it.
But then she closes it out that it was a good one-time watch that will leave you wanting to know the ending. But once it is over and you think about the plot, it doesn't really make much sense. So
all right,
I might have to disagree with you a bit on there, Anna. You're not getting any birthday gifts from me this year.
Yeah, I mean, I also disagree with how you rated that, but I mean, I guess
that's why we're here.
I guess you could say I can understand the watch it one time and not come back to it. I can understand that.
So that brings, with everybody's scores put together, averaged out, that brings us to a 38.75 because the 7.5 will round it up to 39, right. Which this movie was great.
Yeah, it was great.
So just like Anna said, who scored it the lowest of all of us, she said it's a great one-time watch.
Right.
So I think this is one that in a group setting, it's going to be pretty captivating for most people. Not everybody will like the result.
Right, exactly.
Some people will think it was mesmerizing.
So yeah, as for my final thoughts on this movie...
I thought you already gave them.
No, I didn't. I said I'll go last.
Oh.
Yeah, so thanks for trying to like skip me there.
I'm just ready to wrap this up. No.
Oh my gosh, jeez!
I know. I genuinely thought you already gave your.
No, it's okay. Thoughts. I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of said most of what I was thinking outside of Anna. But yeah, I mean, this was just a fun movie. Like I don't know what I was expecting going into this movie. I really wasn't expecting anything. I just heard great things and like you have to watch this movie. And again, I'm kind of like going through all the movies we've been watching from last year. And like putting them in order and just kind of seeing where they line up. And like this has to be probably my third or second favorite, honestly, from last year. it was just so much fun.
What were 1 and 2?
So I probably say Top Gun Maverick was my first.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's between this and The Northman, because I still really, really like The Northman. And then I think I said Everything Everywhere All at Once is 4.
See, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once for me is probably top, but Barbarian is right up there. I love that.
Oh yeah,
movie.
Barbarian too. Yeah, Barbarian's probably top 5 also. But yeah, I mean, this movie, like, story from beginning to end, it just captivates you. It holds on. This is like gonna be, I think this will be one of those top tier thrillers moving forward. They'll be remembered like, oh, have you seen The Menu?
Yeah,
like the performances were captivating from the lead actors and actresses. Anna did phenomenal, and she had some her at the ending was just like that. Like, I feel like that just fits who she is as an actress, and she just, it reminds me of her in Queen's Gambit. I loved her in that. I felt like this resembled her character at times, especially at the end. I was like, yes, she just nails like that part of the character that she tends to play in some of her movies, and it was just awesome watching her and Ralph go back and forth at it. All the supporting actors and actresses did a phenomenal job too. Like, they all played their parts super well, and probably some of them gave even more than they needed to. All the chefs and the hostess did amazing too. Especially just had some good lines. Yep. Just again, the ear thing. Like, what was it she said again?
You will eat far more than you deserve. No, you will eat better than you deserve, but will also eat less than you desire.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a really good line.
Great.
The more I think about it. So yeah, I mean, I think setting wise, like, this is a great like movie to just throw on either by yourself or with some friends, like just a small group though. Like, I think this is a really entertaining movie for people to like sit down and like watch like together at a party. Like,
yeah.
And I mean like, to actually sit down and watch, like, don't miss this movie, because you're gonna miss some awesome stuff.
And I genuinely think this movie is gonna inspire some copycats.
Yeah, it totally will.
It's unique enough and good enough that other people are like, oh, I like this idea. Let's do something that's lesser. So
I'm trying to even think where they would like go with that. If you
remember the Family Guy, or not Family Guy, Family Video always had the middle shelf of like straight to DVD movies.
Oh yeah.
And like, we'd have Thor, the Marvel movie, coming out, and so then you would have the straight to DVD God of Thunder movie coming out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. I totally like forgot about that.
Yeah, so I hear they already have The Restaurant inspired by this coming out.
The Restaurant.
Has
there been anything released like
Cuisine coming out? No, I'm just making this up. They're not doing that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being dead serious. I totally bought that first. I was like, seriously? Like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I think you guys do not want to miss out on this movie at the very least. Like, go and watch this. It's on HBO Max. I'm serious. It's very interesting and it's unique. It's worth it. So with all that said, let us know what you thought of this movie. Go ahead and leave a comment. Leave whether it's on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Facebook. Shoot us a comment. Let you know what you thought about it. Give us your score. You can write out a comment like Anna did, or you don't have to leave a comment at all. Or you can leave like one little snippet about one of your scores or whatever. That's cool too.
But we'd love to include them in our episodes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be doing it like we did it for which episode is like our second one, where we read at the beginning for the past episode. We want to do it for this too, where we can read it probably during the episode.
Well, this one was a listener request, so they actually sent those scores and requested it. I know we have Twilight coming up on. Send us your Twilight scores if you want to be a part of that episode. We also have Puss in Boots once it comes to streaming. So
because Tim just refuses to see it in theaters.
Yeah, I'm not paying a ticket for that.
Come on, it's gonna be fun.
I've already got my brother's score.
The first one was really good too.
Okay,
I'm so excited for that one. So yeah, otherwise, go ahead and like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Again, find a movie lover and sit down and talk like we do about it, and then send us your thoughts on the movie. That'd be a lot of fun.
We look forward to hanging out with you next time.
We'll go ahead and see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.